Hi there, and welcome to the Android Coliseum Friday Night Hangout number 37. I will be your host for the evening.
Upside down.
And we're off to a rocking start here. First, I can't get my banner to go, and then I have an upside down sign. Well, that's what happens when Ryan's not here like he usually is to run the show. We have three of us here, one of us to follow. So at the far end, we have Tom Gray in Vancouver area, Sylvain, who's just down the road from me in Edmonton.
Hello.
I'm in middle of nowhere, Alberta, and joining us later will be Mark, hopefully, as soon as he gets done with the important daddy duties that he has. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is Boingo. In the US, they are running a promotion together with Samsung for the Note 8 and the Galaxy Tab 3, where they get free Wi-Fi throughout Canada, Mexico, and the US. So I did try and sign up for this, and they don't have the Canadian serial numbers available, model numbers available. Bongo is in Canada a lot, but we also have the Shaw Wi-Fi network for Canadian users. What do you guys think? Do we need Bongo, which is a $5 a month service?
Well, it depends what area you're in, because Edmonton, there's Shaw Open everywhere, in a lot more businesses. Boingo, I've only seen them in airports. So
I looked in the Vancouver area because that's where I would want Wi-Fi, and it looks like they have pretty good coverage in the city of Vancouver. I didn't look outside. What about you, Tom? Do you guys have a lot of Shaw Opens since you're outside Vancouver?
Yeah, I actually got one right outside my house. So when I'm waiting for the bus to go to work, I can actually see a Wi-Fi spot. And I've never actually really needed to log into one because I have like 6 gigs of data. But I mean, for a guy like Sylvain who's on a limited plan, I mean, that would be like the dream. I've never actually seen one go anywhere around here, but I mean, I'm just outside Vancouver, so and at the same time, I'm not really looking for it either. So I might just be missing it.
Well, I know since I have the Note 8 and it's a Wi-Fi only, I do sometimes go in search of Wi-Fi. In Medicine Hat, where I spend a lot of time, there is Shaw Open that I can just go hang out at a Tim Hortons and get, and there's lots of Shaw Open locally in my small town. So I don't think this is something I'm going to miss. Let us know what you think. So we're going to go on to talk about the numbers. Apparently Jelly Bean is now at 38%. Tom?
So, I mean, we've got a lot of mixed devices, obviously. Surprisingly enough, ice cream sandwich and gingerbread are still quite a bit out there. So it's nice to see that Jelly Bean's on the rise. And not just Jelly Bean, but because of Jelly Bean, that means Google Now is also on the rise. So a lot of people are going to have Google Now in the palms of their hands. And that's really going to take the fight to the iPhone users. So you can show them, hey, I have Siri as well, my own version of Siri, and look what it can do. And now the battle really begins. Jelly Bean rolls out. And unfortunately, the next Android, 4.3 coming out is also going to be Jelly Bean, so those numbers are just going to go higher as time goes on. So this is great news all around.
So do you use your Google Now? Like, I find I use it more and more. Like today I said, remind me. I actually am getting used to talking to my phone. I'm saying, remind me to go buy dog food after work. Do you guys use it like that, or what do you use your Google Now for?
I don't use it at all. Mine was off earlier, and when you gave me that tip, I had to turn it on. So, yeah, really, first of all, it doesn't understand my accent, and so that's a big minus right there. And yeah, it only gives me the weather, and I already have a weather app. Plus, since I'm prepaid, well, I don't use it outside the house, so there's no use really for me.
For me, I use it for fun and for some seriousness. So my wife and I are having a challenge a couple weeks ago. Who could ask the most absurd question? And we had to read the #1 result that we would get from that question out loud. And it was laughs all around. And there were stupid questions I cannot repeat on live right now.
I was just going to ask you, but okay, never mind.
No, there are questions I and for serious use is I love going out because I don't drive, right? So I take the bus everywhere. So we're Vancouver, Surrey area, we have a really great transit system. So it's nice to stand at a bus stop, open Google Now. It's like, oh, this bus comes at this time. It leaves the station, and here's the route. Here's where it goes. And I say, well, I'm trying to go to Safeway. Oh, well, you can take it here. It will go this way. And then Google Now just knows where I'm going because, oh, every day at 3 o'clock you go to Safeway. Okay, I will plan that route for you. And it tells me, oh, you should be leaving soon. Your bus is coming. It's like, thanks, Google Now. So, I mean, that's a great feature to have. Other than that, I really don't use it other than just weather, and I don't tell it to remind me of anything.
Yeah, see, and I find for me, I don't get a lot of information. I get stocks, but other than that, I don't get packages. I don't get stuff.
You have to search for it to be activated. Like doesn't just come up by itself.
Oh, okay.
You kind of have to ask it a few times for it to go, oh, you're interested in packages. Okay, I will tell you this from now on. And there's actually a little circle with an eye in it for information on the top right corner of almost every single pop-up.
Mm-hmm.
For example, my buses, when I click on it, it's like, do you often take the bus in this city? I say yes. Do you take the bus at this time? I say yes. So from now on, during that time, it's like, oh, you usually go to the store at this time. Should I remind you? It's like, yes. And then the more you use it, the more it learns your habits.
So I said no. I guess I'll have to change that. So sticking with the Google theme, apparently they're going to start doing Play gift certificates in Canada at last.
Yay!
What do you guys think?
Well, I want one for Christmas, so that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, we have 6 months.
Yeah.
It's actually a cool feature that we actually have confirmation they're coming to Canada. So that actually is they're looking for someone to hire to spearhead the operation to get Google gift certificates into Canada and help them run that facility. So it's kind of awesome. Again, confirmation that yes, they are coming. Just it's a waiting game right now.
I wonder how come it takes so long to get that kind of thing here, like Google certificates, gift certificates.
Is there laws here in Canada about that?
I'm kind of thinking it might tie into the same category as Google Wallet, and how come we don't have that here right now? I think they're going to kind of work hand in hand. So I think when the gift certificates come, maybe Wallet will come with it. That's what I'm thinking.
That would be awesome, like where we could NFC it, because of course we all have wallets if we have the Play Store.
Right. So I mean, cash at hand, cards, NFCs. I think it's all going to come in a package deal.
Have you ever seen the Play cards? I know in Alberta, they cannot. Your cards cannot diminish in value over time unless you use them. Is that the same in BC, Tom?
Yes and no. Some in general gift cards, most of them hold their value forever. And there is the odd one or two that say if you don't use it in a year, 10% will be subtracted as interest, yada, yada, yada. But they're being phased out because a lot of people are complaining about that.
Isn't that illegal now anyway?
That is illegal in Alberta.
Yes, and that's why it's just recently, I think, became illegal in BC as well. And they're kind of changing that. But at one point in time, yes, they did lose some value, but not so much anymore.
Okay, well, Samsung had a lot of announcements this past week. They had Mini, they had a bunch of other stuff, and they've also started releasing more information about the third Tab series, the Galaxy Tab 3. It's now available. Who's seen them in stores?
I didn't see any tabs like that yet, but I think, well, in the article I was reading on June 24th, it was available in the US. Now, is it in Canada yet? I don't know. But they come in 3 different sizes, and of course the specs change. And so let's say for the 7-inch, it comes at $200, and it's a dual-core 1.2 gigahertz, only 8 gigs of storage, and it comes with Jelly Bean 4.1. The 8-inch at $300 bucks is 1.5 gigahertz and 1.5 gig of RAM. And surprisingly, the 10.1 inch is $400, but there's only 1 gig of RAM. and it's 1.6 gigahertz for the processor. So that's kind of deceiving. You know, if I compare with the Galaxy Tab 2 that I bought, is it now 2 weeks ago? It's not much difference other than the, of course, the price. That is much more, and it's a little bit faster. But only 1 gig of RAM? That's kind of weird, don't you think, Tom? You know, new devices like that?
It's definitely weird. I just checked, and yes, it is available in Canada right now.
Okay.
So it's at Best Buy for $199. But yes, I checked the specs. I know you and I were talking about it earlier before we bought our tablets together, pretty much. And yeah, it's the Tab 2 is dual core 1 gigahertz. Tab 3 is dual core 1.2 gigahertz. And basically after that, the specs are even across the board. So it kind of makes you wonder, going, why did they even release the Tab 3? Well, what's the point? So, you know, your guess.
Does the Tab 3 have the button?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, the Tab 2 did not, and neither did the Tab. So the Tab 3 is a styling change, perhaps, to bring it in line with all the other Galaxy stuff. What's that?
Is it necessarily for the better, though? I know some people love it, or they hate it so bad, right?
Yeah, I can't do with a hardware button anymore. Even the one I had, the Tab 2, it was all software on the screen, and that's awesome. And by the way, neither myself or Tom have the tablets we talked about last week.
Nope.
And there's
got Nexus now.
That's right. We got good prices at Future Shop. I love it.
That's great.
Mine is not rooted. I'm keeping it like that for now. So it's been a week now. We'll see how long I can keep it unrooted.
Not long, buddy.
We'll see.
Hang Project will release Milestone 2 or 3, whatever's the new one, and you'll be right in there.
Don't say that. But you know what? I should try it. But so far, for what I use it for, it's perfect. You know, just reading, watching a few videos. I don't need much, but we'll see.
Yep, I think that people use their tablets. Certainly, I've searched a long time for the right tablet, which I think I have now. But I do the same thing that you do, Sylvain. I really read magazines, read books, maybe watch a few videos. Very different than my phone use. So it's hard to tell whether I'm going to need, you know, what I would need on it.
Yeah, and there's apps on my tablet that I don't use, even though I can't freeze them or anything yet, like Hangout or what else. I try not to do Gmail on it. You know, that's all stuff I'm used to do on my phone anyway. So yeah, it's really different kind of use.
Well, the one thing I did do on my tablet is extend the text feature onto it, because sometimes I'm not by my phone and I'm by my tablet, and if someone's texting me, then I need to know.
Yeah, that's right. It's there just in case, but it's not my main usage of it.
Sure. What about you, Tom?
Sorry, you have to say that again for me. I was doing some feedback.
What about you? What are you using your tablet for? Other than waiting for Alex to take it over.
Not waiting so much. It's actually, he's starting to get the hold of it now. I got that kid's balloon pop that I showed last week, and he's been slapping the screen, popping balloons and stuff. He's taken a while to adopt it. He loves the idea of the screen lights up and he can touch it, but he's just not quite sure what he can do with it just yet. So it's just going to be a learning curve, but we'll work through it. It's a gaming device for Alex. I mean, I've tried to use it for myself, but I always just reach for my phone again. So
yeah. But Tom, have you been secretly playing the balloon game?
Not so much. No. There's not much to do on it. It's
it gets boring really quick.
Yes.
No challenge. No challenge.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay. Well, you guys have Nexus Edition tablets. We have been seeing a lot of news about Google Edition devices on the Play Store and stuff, and then of course we're hearing about the Motorola devices, like a very open secret. What do you guys think? Nexus versus Google Edition devices?
You go ahead, Sylvain.
What do I think about that? I'm a hardcore Nexus user, and I don't really like the idea to have Google Editions on other phones than the Nexus. There's a reason why I buy those phones. I want the updates as they come out, and I don't want other devices or exclusivity on other ones than Nexus. So it's a little bit too bad. At the same time, it's probably a marketing thing. You know, they want to promote other devices, not just the Nexus.
Yeah,
What
for
do you
me,
think, Tom?
I personally think it's great because not only does it fit my prediction like 6 months ago, people were talking about what is going to be the next Nexus when people thought LG was going to bring the Nexus 5, and then LG came out and said, no, we're not doing the Nexus 5, you know. So people were kind of wondering, well, who's it going to be? And my prediction was, I think everybody's going to have a Nexus. Google's not going to just target one person. I think everybody's going to be able to go, I have a Nexus, he has a Nexus, and now really open up the options. And that's exactly what's happening now. So now we have Google Editions, which is essentially the Nexus. And, you know, I actually loaded a Nexus, Google Edition ROM onto my HTC One. So I'm running the official HTC One Google Edition. And I'm noticing some changes in the stuff that we have that the Nexuses don't got. And of course, the Nexus people are kind of freaking out, going, I have a Nexus. I was supposed to be first. You know, how come I don't have that new camera? How come I had to wait so long to get those maps when the Google Edition guys got it first? How come the S4 is already running Android 4.3 and we're still on 4.2.2? Hello, Nexus. You know, it kind of makes people wonder, is Google Edition going to be the new Nexus? Are they going to trump the Nexus? You know, are they going to get special treatment? And it kind of seems that way. So we'll see what the future holds. And the other question was, will we see the Motorola X phone also fall in the same line beside the Google Edition phones? Will it be the Motorola version of the Google Edition? Who knows? I know, Cass, you and I are exchanging some words about it before, so I'll pass the spotlight on to you.
Well, I'm just thinking that in a way, Sylvain is right. You want to have the Nexus phones there. And I'm thinking that for a lot of people, they want that Android experience and they want to get a high-end phone. And that's what these Google Editions will do. At the same time, for developers, they should stick with the Nexus phone, have something that's really affordable for them, but they have to make sure that that phone is getting the updates quickly.
Yeah.
Like more quickly than what's happening now. And I think what's happening now is maybe just a temporary thing until they get the Google Editions established so that you can make sure that there's a draw there. Because right now, like Tom, you were saying, there's some things you're missing, some features that you're missing from your HTC One that you wish you had. Like I'm not even putting the Google Edition on because there are things I like I got an S4 because I want those features. Right. So this sort of gathers everybody into that tent and gets, Google pleases everybody, and it allows hopefully for a little more access to different types of devices.
Definitely.
Anybody got any closing comments there?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, having Google Editions available is a great thing. But as I've said to people in the past about this, they're wondering, should I get the HTC One, get the S4, or should I get the Google Editions of either phone? And I keep telling them, no, just get the regular phone because, I mean, look at me. I have the HTC One Sense Edition, and yet I easily just loaded the Google Edition ROM on there so I can experience the best of both worlds. If I'm not happy with the Google Edition of it, I can just simply go back to Sense, right? Where if you buy the Google Edition, it's not so easy to go load a ROM that doesn't belong on your phone. So, I mean, get the original. It doesn't cost any more or any less, and you just have the best of both worlds, right?
Well, yeah. And I think another thing, too, is the cost. Just, like if you get a regular edition, you can probably get it carrier subsidized. If you get it from Google, you can't.
That's right.
And Sylvain has the last comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm on 4.1.1, the stock, and I still have the camera, and I tried the other options from 4.3, so you can still try it. It's just not the full OS, that's 4.3. I got the best of it, so that's good anyway.
The main thing is that you can get the parts that you want.
That's right.
So, and Google has been busy patching bugs. No? Patching bugs is now up to the OEMs. I haven't read about that.
I know a fair bit about that if you want.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, this is a bug that's been released to almost every edition of Android. Everybody is vulnerable to this except for the S4s. So congrats, you're safe. But either way, what it is they found a way to add code, or in this case, malware, into signed packages. So what that means is I just loaded the signed package of Google Maps, the new one, because it didn't get pushed to me. So what I could have potentially done is loaded malware onto my phone through a signed package, official, and my phone would think it's totally safe and just totally load everything without asking a second question. And before I know it, I have malware on my phone. And finding malware and getting rid of it is crazy hard. And that's a stupid mistake on my part for just downloading off the market in the first place. Stick to the Google Play Store. So what Google did is they fixed this problem and they released it, but now it's up to everybody else to incorporate it in their ROM. So for example, HTC, for my side, they would have to add that in, which, I mean, we'll have to wait a while until they update their ROM. So that's what it is. It affects everybody all the way back to 1.6, all the way to the current 4.2.2, except for the S4 users. So that's what it is. So basically, use your common sense. If you don't know what it is, don't download it. Stick to the market if you want to be safe. Once you venture outside of the market, I mean, that's no man's land. You get what you got coming to you. Cass, you got a comment?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how much of that deal with it not being on the S4 is due to Knox, because they might have an extra layer of security in there that makes it easier for corporations to lock down the device.
Oh, they said that Samsung already incorporated the fix.
Ah, before they start. Oh, okay. Sorry, I have an audience, and he's seeing leaves outside. Okay, one of the things we were talking about before the Hangout started was how much less data we seem to be using for the same things. Tom was telling a story about using his for several hours and hardly using any data. So why don't you share that a bit more, Tom?
All right, so Google Chrome Beta Edition has a feature in there, as some may know. And it's helped to reduce data usage by, helping save some content of web pages onto your phone. So next time you go to that web page, it just loads off your phone. Anything that's the same, kind of reduces downloading that page over and over and over again. Same with Google Music. And Google Music actually incorporated a feature a little while ago. I'll show you that now. And what that does is they give you an option to how you want to stream your music. So whether you want to use like high quality, low quality, or whatever. So they actually give you the option for low, normal, or high. I personally have been running on low. Just, I don't really notice any significant quality loss. And yes, I'm using Beat headphones as well. And I streamed for about 4 to 5 hours. And I didn't use much data at all. So let's bring that up for you guys here. So as you can see here on my music, I used 249 megabytes with about 4 to 5 hours of usage. I mean, that's outstanding. Before Google incorporated all these fixes and little ways to save your data, I would use about 200 megabytes in probably about an hour or two.
So that's this is 24 days at 5 hours a day.
Yeah, so this is great. I mean, for a guy like me on a 6-gig data plan, I don't have Wi-Fi at work, so be smart. You kind of pin some of your favorite albums. But, I mean, for the ones you can't, I mean, that's great data usage. And thanks, Google, for helping us do that.
Nice.
What about you, Sylvain? Do you use a lot of different apps that suck up data? Do you stream a lot?
I stream a lot, but at home on Wi-Fi. Only, yeah. And I pin my albums, and that's it. Outside the house, barely any data. So you see, I was saying in the pre-show, in 12 days, 4 megs of data only, so basically nothing.
Oh yeah, and I'm on the shared 2 gig plan, and we pretty well stay within our 2 gig because we have the open Shaw open, so I go hunting.
Cool.
Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about is I've been reading a lot about the Moto X rumors, and one thing that I've noticed is they talk about how it's really going to be a mid-range phone, but it is going to have a good camera and an excellent battery life. So what do you guys think? Would you be willing to give a pass to some performance in order to get better battery life? Or do you think that phones aren't there yet in terms of speed and it'd be really noticeable?
Well, what I think is that they should stop making mid-range phones. They should, the best. I want the best. I want the best battery life, the best specs. I want the best camera, and hopefully that's all coming up with Nexus 5.
Okay.
I said it all.
If we want the
Tom?
we want the best. You don't want mid-range. You don't want low-range. Okay, so what you're saying is you want Google to be like iPhone. You have one choice and one choice only. It's either this or nothing. So that's just my little jab back. Anyways, I think rather than...
Yeah, don't let me reply to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, let's say they release a phone. Okay, 2 months later, they release another phone that's a little bit better.
Yep.
They fix their bugs. Look at the Galaxy Nexus that I still own, by the way. And they released the Nexus 4, which is barely better. They need to really do a good job at releasing the best all the time.
Sylvain, have you used the Nexus 4 before?
In the stores, yes.
I know when I went from my Galaxy Nexus to Nexus 4, it was astonishing. Like, literally everything is double. It went from dual core to quad core, 1 gig RAM to 2 gig RAM. The only thing that...
The camera.
Yeah, disappointed me was the camera. The camera was the same. I mean, yeah, it went from a 5 to an 8 megapixel camera, but quality just wasn't there. They dropped the ball on that one. But anyways, getting back to Cass's question, sacrificing performance for battery, I wouldn't want to buy a device that is not up to my personal standards of raw power. But saying that, I would like to see more use of options like on the HTC One, where you have a toggle switch to dumb down your phone a little bit to save that power. So you have the best of both worlds in your hand. For example, HTC One has that power saving mode. Will turn off 2 of your cores, so thus making your phone a dual core rather than a quad core, saving you that power. So if you're not a gamer, you're a social media Facebooker or whatever, I mean, you don't have to drain your battery. You don't have to go super lightning fast. I mean, just enjoy it, right? So I think just more power saving friendly features would be more openly welcome.
Okay, well, I'm sort of with Sylvain and I'm sort of with Tom. I think there needs to be stuff for every... something for every budget. I also think that phones are almost getting to the point, every time I get a new phone, I'm really impressed, but I also think we're getting pretty close to that point where it's like getting a new computer. You get a new computer and you think, a new computer. And maybe that's just that it becomes a tool instead of something cool. So.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea that, they release a new phone, but the camera's not better. You have to say that, okay, I use my phone for a lot of things, but mainly camera. I want a good camera. So why not release with a new phone a better camera?
I have to say I was really disappointed with the Nexus, the Galaxy Nexus camera. And that was one thing for sure that was going to be a big deal for me was this camera has to cut it. And I have been really happy with the S4 camera, and I think Tom felt the same way and is really happy with his HTC One. So, cameras are amazingly important, and Sylvain's going to get the Galaxy camera and tell us what a great choice it was.
Actually, you know what? Everybody send Sylvain Canadian Google Play gift cards when they come out. So
what a great idea, Tom.
And then he can do a review. Help Sylvain.
Send me gift cards, I'll get it.
I'll send you pictures.
Yeah. I will share all my pictures.
Well, I think that's about it for the news. Anything else you guys want to add in?
Not so much.
Breaking news?
Not really. I know Sylvain, I
Oh,
think, wants to talk
Oh,
about Red Open Kang.
no,
yeah,
you know what?
okay.
When I was talking about the Galaxy Tab 3, I forgot to talk about my secret tablet.
Yes, you did. And
I
I was
know, I was just
wondering
reading it
when you were
now.
going to.
Okay, so what I'll do, I'll share my screen. Just give me a second. Um, I saw that this week.
Your
That
secret
looks,
tablet?
yeah. What's at the bottom there?
Oh, is that like a beam?
It's like
It's
a
like,
projection.
it's a projector. So
Ooh.
imagine that you're in your bed and watching a movie on your ceiling.
That would be amazing.
So that looks really awesome.
Okay.
If I look at, okay.
I can't do that. I share a bedroom with somebody who would be going, turn that off.
Oh yeah. So if you look at the OS version 4.2, it's 1.2 gigahertz, only 1 gig of RAM. So it's not really impressive, but there's a projector. Who doesn't want that?
Well, I'll tell you something, since you're talking about projectors. One thing that we were doing last week was playing with connecting all my stuff with Samsung Sync to the phone, to the TV, and to our amp. And there's some pretty slick things you can do.
Whoops.
So, how
So
much is that?
I'm not
Three.
sure.
Is
Almost 400 bucks.
that from China?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
But very interesting. I like the
Hmm.
idea of the projector. Anyway, that was my little secret.
If you can't get a Galaxy camera, you want one of those projector tablets?
Well, actually, I want it on my next phone.
Oh, okay. That's why you don't want a low-end phone.
That's right.
Okay, so let's go on to some updates. We have Sylvain's going to tell us about AOKP.
Yeah, there's not much to say about it. It's been, I think, over 2 weeks that they have not released anything except a test build. I guess it's only for fixing a few bugs and getting feedback from people. But yeah, they're taking a long time to release their milestone 2, which is good because while they don't release it, I'm staying on stock and I don't have any trouble. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I think it helps that they're really sticking with that Jelly Bean core for now. You know, it gives them time to really get people used to it and figure out what their next
Yeah,
update is really going to do.
they just seem a little bit slow compared to CyanogenMod. Atom Cyanogen releases a lot of things, the incognito and what else? A lot of bugs fixed and
Oh yeah, Sanjay
Well,
on every day, man. Updates, 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 and they start adding so much content. I know Android OpenKang has much more user interface customizability than CyanogenMod does, but CyanogenMod has much more under the hood customization to help really maximize the juice of your device. So it really does, do you want the looks and beautiful nature of OpenKang, or do you want the raw performance and slim of CyanogenMod? So it really
yeah.
does have to make a toss up. That's awesome to have those two places.
Mhm.
so what about, you said that CyanogenMod has a lot of bug fixes. Does AOKP have bugs to fix, or is it just a matter of
Oh, I'm sure they
it
do,
being,
but every time I was using it, I didn't get any force close or everything was working fine. It's mostly things you don't really realize what they are.
hmm
Anyway, for me, I didn't realize if there was any bug. It always worked really well.
Yeah,
Uh,
Android OpenKang is smart about that though. Is they don't release nightlies like CyanogenMod does, and CyanogenMod just releases nightly whether it's working or not. So I mean, you kind of take a gamble in flashing it. So and they even tell you that it's probably broken. It's up to you
mhm.
if you want to use it. Where Android OpenKang, as Sylvain said, they're a little bit slow this time because they're not going to release it until they are satisfied. So
They still release nightlies, but every 3 or 4 days instead of every day.
yeah. So I mean, they're
Mhm.
smart about. They make sure it's gonna work.
fortnightly?
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
Okay, and we have some devices being updated. Looks like the Sony ZL is getting 4.2.2. That's on Bell. Any other that you guys, breaking news on?
Not really, but we need Mark to talk about that Sony one.
Yeah,
I
he
know.
gets paycheck.
Where is he? He must have got stuck in the bath.
He probably fell in.
Yep. It's good to see a lot of devices getting that 4.2.2. I think that as long as they're on 4.1 even, they get a lot of the benefits of being on Jelly Bean. So, and because none of us are the big app updaters, we're not going to do that this week. Are you guys disappointed?
No.
So
A little bit.
Oh, did you want to do some?
Well, I thought we were talking about maps and.
Well, why don't you show off the map, Sylvain? You had the most practice out of all of us.
Show us the map.
Give us a walkthrough, buddy.
Hold on, I wasn't prepared for that. I don't want to show where I live either.
That's what happens when Ryan's not here. We put everybody on the spot.
Yeah.
It's all chaos. There's no order.
Fast speaking, terrible segues, and surprises.
You know what? I don't want to show that. There's all my addresses. And
Okay, it's okay. You don't show it.
Yeah, but I just want to say it's. I guess I was one of the first to get it right from the Play Store. I find it really fluid, and they got a few. It's hard to say the differences between the two, because once you update to the new one, you're like, okay, what were the options in the other version that I'm missing now? One thing that I found really awesome is that it automatically updated my home address to a more specific, point on the map, which is great. They did take latitude off, but it's now in Google Plus, right? I don't use that anyway. Yeah. Everything's fluid. You go from up to down, and there's no the navigation is included in Maps, so there's no other application that needs to start. It's all in one. It's just really nice. There's one thing that I'm missing is the offline maps. I know there's a trick. I think you search for where you want to go, and at the end of your search you write OK Maps, and it's supposed to cache it. I didn't try that, but that would be a good option.
I thought they had brought back the offline maps with the latest update.
I know they said
there
that,
should
but
be another latest
I can't
update.
see where. Even when I search, I don't know. I need to play a little bit more with it. That's really great. Yeah. Other than that, Copilot Live, which I use because it's all offline maps. They bring back the power button. I don't know why they took that off. When you unless you just back out of the app, it wouldn't shut down. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. That's good. That's about it. What else did we have?
Your tip of the week, buddy.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. I can't really show that with AirDroid because I need to take my Wi-Fi off, and you guys would lose what I'm doing. So the idea is to select what you want to sync exactly. It's kind of confusing because your Wi-Fi needs to be off. I'll do it at the same time. And your sync on. And then you go into your settings under your Google account. And that's where you get all the checkboxes beside the, let's say, Chrome Beta. You can check it or check it off. And that's where you can decide which one you want to sync or not. So personally, I don't want my Google photos to appear in my gallery, so that's checked off. And app data. I don't want my data from from my phone to my tablet, so I just take that off. That's it. It's just a way of helping you decide what you want to sync.
And save battery.
I was going to say that.
And save data. Yeah, that's right.
And save battery. So.
Oh, battery or data, you said?
Both.
Yeah. When I go in the field, that's what I do. I check off everything except I think Gmail and Google Plus. So the photos don't upload, and don't use my data, my so precious data.
I had
That's my
that.
tip of the week.
And that's a really good tip too if you go out of the country, because I was having problems with that as well when last time I went on holidays. As soon as I'd connect up to Wi-Fi, which was really expensive, it'd be starting to update all this stuff, and I'm going,
I don't
no,
need that. Mm.
that can wait till I get home. Stop using up my data.
Yeah. So
So,
basically, what you need to do is put your Wi-Fi off and sync on. Then you can go in your sync and select everything you want.
okay, so you'll do something, you'll do some directions on that, right?
Yes, I'll write an article and explain that.
Excellent. Well, since you're talking, why don't you go on with your app?
Okay. Once again, I'm not ready.
Tom, are you ready? I'm not ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go first then.
Tom can go
Just
first.
to do the little introduction that Ryan usually does, is this is our app Coliseum, something we like to do just to kind of let you guys know what apps we're currently using, maybe something you've never seen before or simply forgot about, maybe used to use it in the past. So we're going to start off. Obviously, you've chosen me to be first. So I'm going to just do a real lazy share because I'm in that kind of mood right now. And my app is going to be Final Fantasy IV for the Android. And yeah, it came out for iPhone first, yada, yada, yada. But Final Fantasy IV for the Android is an amazing port. It actually came from the Nintendo DS. And they basically took an old classic and refurbished it in all 3D animations and really just gave the game a really nice 3D updated look while keeping the story intact. So, however, it does come with a pretty hefty $15.99 price tag. So, but if you're a true Final Fantasy fan, you won't mind checking this out. I've put some good time into it. It's got the job systems where you guys can actually, as your characters level up, they will progress through the story and they'll change jobs at periodic locations. You cannot change your jobs like older Final Fantasies. You have to rely on the story to do it. But in my own personal feelings, Final Fantasy IV has always been my all-time favorite story of all Final Fantasy games. So any big fans will love this game. So check it out. It is worth the $15.99. So please check it out. Let me know what you think of it. Final Fantasy IV for Android.
So if you like Final Fantasy, if you like those kind of games, remember to vote for
Hey,
Tom
Mark,
in our
welcome.
app Coliseum.
The end of the Hangout.
Yeah, sorry.
That's
Okay, Mark, you can say bye now.
were you the last app?
No,
No.
Tom was the first one. I'll do mine now.
Let's just introduce Mark before we
Oh,
continue.
yeah, okay.
In case you haven't tuned in before, and I am still hosting. This is Mark.
Hey, sorry I'm a little bit late, but we got back home a little late, and the baby's got a whole schedule that we have to maintain.
And we just whipped through this hangout too.
It
We
looks
went
like it. You
fast,
guys
so.
went quickly, yeah.
So,
I was anticipating an hour, so but yeah.
well, as soon as you said you were going to be late, we decided to accelerate the program.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
All right,
So,
I'll talk about my
Tom's
app.
going to go with his. Or, sorry,
Sylvain.
Sylvain's going to go with his.
Okay. So I think Cass, you're gonna like this. This is
Okay.
called Series Guide. I really like to watch movies, but I also like to watch TV series. The problem is I often download my series because I don't have time to watch them live on TV, or I just don't record them, and they're not always on Netflix. So what I do, the problem was I never knew, okay, what's the episode now? Because when you have a list of episodes on your computer, you're like, okay, which one did I watch last? Can't remember. Well, this now is helping me. So I'm kind of giving now the what I'm watching, Scandal. So if I go in Scandal, it's a really good series. It tells me now I am on season 2, episode 6. So that's the one I need to watch. Once I'm done watching it, I just beside the check-in, there's a little check. So I press on there, and it marks it as watched. And now it's gonna go to it's gonna go to episode 7. So then I just quit, leave the app, and the next time I watch Scandal, I know I'm on episode 7. So I'll undo that a bit later. So I have all those series that I did watch in the past, and that's where I am. So I'll remember which one I watched. That's the main idea of it. I think there's a big menu about the activity. So far I would have watched. No, that's not it. There's so many. Oh, statistics. So 12 shows. I've watched 1,117 episodes, and that's 21 days of my life that I wasted.
Oh, that's not anything I need to know.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. You can just search for new shows. You have it trending, so it's easy to find new shows you want to watch. Let's say True Blood.
Warehouse 13.
Where's that? Okay, yeah.
Isn't that?
So I'll add the show. So if I go back in here, yeah, I should see it right there. So there's also, it tells you a little bit what the show is about. You can see how many seasons there is already. We are up to season 4. I have 58 episodes to watch. You can rate everything. So that's my app. Very interesting. I like it.
So is it a social app too? Like, do you have conversations about the shows like Get Glue or?
I think you can leave comments, but it uses, is it Track? It's a website, I don't know. I wish it would just use IMDb. If I go into settings, there's something about, I think it's, services. So Track TV. I don't have credentials for it. I guess it would add a little bit of, I think it's for adding comments and all that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'll
what's
try
the name of
that
that
series guide.
So it's called
Series guide.
Series Guide.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's free. There's no ads.
Wow. Well, that's
Yeah.
because TV shows have a lot of ads,
That's right.
so they get you. Okay, so well, if you're a big TV show, does it do movies as well, or just TVs?
I tried today to just find a movie, and it does find it. The only problem is the only thing you can do is add to watch list.
Okay.
What I would like is to have a big list where you can say, okay, I watched it. That's my rating. Kind of IMDb integrated, but it's not. That's probably why they call it just a series guide. So vote for me.
Mark, are you ready?
You can go.
Okay.
You can go ahead first. I'm trying.
Okay, so I'm going to go, and then we'll wrap up
Scrounge
with
it up.
Mark. He'll have his app and talk about the Sony phone because he's our Sony guy. So my app is called Snapdragon Battery Guru. I am going to figure out a screen to share here. Sorry, guys. I'm not ready now. So a lot of times we were talking about battery life and stuff like that. And I also like to say battery. Since I have an S4, it is a Snapdragon processor, so I thought I'd give this a try. It is not for power users. I think people who are power users probably manage their power well. But I used to use Juice Defender, and I found it annoying because it turned off stuff that never seemed to really work for me. Whereas this is a pretty simple, hands-free type app. And according to it, I have saved a lot of battery, and I do feel like I'm getting more battery life out of it. So this is what it looks like. It does just give you a list of what your apps are that it's going to manage. And then you can update how it refreshes and stuff like that. You can have it control your inactivity power inactivity period power boost, and just it's really nice. It checks your usage for about, I think, 2 or 3 days, and then it just does whatever. So if you are sort of not necessarily a power user and you would like to have your battery life optimized, I would look at this. This is a free app at the Play Store. So that's my app. Are you ready, Mark?
I guess so. I'm just trying to double check to make sure I haven't done this one already. But if we did it, it would have been a long, long time ago. So, so I'll do this one. The app that I'm going to do is and it's kind of going to go in the same line as Sylvain's was, but it's a little bit more of a library kind of one. And the app that I'm doing is called Mizu. And so how it works is basically it kind of acts as a I can kind of show you. It loads up here. So I have it on my tablet, and as you can show here, it'll give you you'll load in different AVIs or different movie files onto your SD card or whatever, and what it'll do is it'll scan the database, and it'll fill it with information. So like I have movies that you can show. I don't have any movies in here. There's TV shows and whatever, and like if you click on one or whatever, it has really nice movie information, episode information, and it does it all automatically. It will search through the databases and fill it. If you have subtitles, it'll load the subtitles and everything. And what it does is when you actually click on, probably shouldn't click on anything just to make sure, but when you click on it, you can open it in a different external movie player. So if you have a built-in one, like an Android one, or if you want to use MX Player, it'll run an MX Player as well. It works really well. It looks really nice. Is the most important thing. I mean, you can get a million different apps that do this, but what's nice is this one actually is designed very well. As you can see, it has some nice different on-screen widgets. So in the top here, so if I want to just jump to it, it'll jump to that one, to the episodes. Like it'll give you all the actors' information and everything. So it integrates all that kind of the IMDb, Wikipedia information about a show and puts it all together. I've enjoyed it. It works really well. I don't often get much time to watch these movies on my tablet, but like for example, when I flew to Japan, it worked really well to kind of create a kind of a dashboard, if you will, that you can start watching TV shows and movies from. So yeah, that's my app.
That's really neat. I would like to see that in MX Player.
Yeah, well, it uses that. So when you actually go to watch the show, right, and you click on it, it'll open in MX Player.
Yeah.
So there is one point to mention is they did used to have a pro and a free version, but I guess the developer is getting rid of the pro version, and he's doing something with the ads, and I don't know how it's going to work. So he was soliciting information from his people on how to do it. Maybe it's going to be an app purchase to remove ads or whatever, but we'll have to see. But other than that, it's a pretty good app for that.
Yeah,
So
just a quick, sorry, Cass. Just a quick comment about when devs do that. You buy an app because you want the pro version with no ads, and then they cancel it. They stop publishing it, and they do one app with only ads. I don't understand why they do that.
I think it's, from my understanding, it's a maintenance issue, having to maintain two different apps.
Okay.
But I don't know.
How do you get your TV shows in that, Mark?
You can. Oh yeah, that's a good question actually.
It's called
wondering.
So when you go into here, if you do refresh, you hit the refresh icon. It'll get here, and then you can select your file sources, and then you can set whatever for movies and TV shows. You can do it. So like right now, you can hit add, and then you can add a local folder. There's a network folder. I haven't done much with network yet. I don't think it's. But then you can find that folder, and then every time it'll just scan, and if it sees a new file in there that you have purchased through legal means, then it will automatically read it and everything.
Okay.
I'm actually curious at what happens when I do network folder.
I was just
IP
wondering.
address, username, oh, that's like that's too advanced for me.
Yeah.
I just throw them on my because I have like a 32 gig or 64 gig or whatever SD card in here in my tablet, and so I throw it in there.
Okay. So I think that's it for our App Coliseum. So we had 2 TV/media type apps, and we had a game, and we had a battery saver. So vote for the ones you like. You can vote more than once. I mean, for more than one app. Please do not vote more than once. We can do that.
Who won last week?
Sylvain.
Ryan. Can't hear me right now, so that's why.
So that's the last of our App Coliseum. Normally we would end, but now that Mark is here, we do want to hear what he thinks about the firmware update for the Sony ZL.
Yeah, yes, I haven't investigated too much. I saw a little bit about it coming up for the ZL, and it came for the Z, I think, in Europe as well. The update, it came out with Bell. I think Bell pushed it out for the ZLs. It brings up to 4.2.2, gives you lock screen widgets, that kind of thing to implement. What's good to see is that I think you have to clarify me on this, but I think they're the first OEM to bring their version up to 4.2. I think. I don't know if any other ones have brought it up. If Samsung
Well, the
or
S4
not.
is, but
Is the S4? Oh yeah, it came with
HTC One as well.
Yeah. Okay. So they're the first ones to update it too.
Yes. First to update to that.
Yeah. Well, which is it's a good. Maybe it's probably because Google.
HTC One came out with 4.1.2, and then they updated to 4.2.2 as well.
Okay, well, it's a good trend on all the OEM sides that they're starting to do them. Maybe it's because Google was slow down on the updates or not.
Yeah, it gives everybody some time to catch up, because that's got to be feeling like fighting fires when you're trying to update, and then 2 days later a new version of Android comes out. Okay, so I think that wraps things up. Anybody want to add anything else?
Nope.
I think we're pretty good for this week.
Wow,
Super
and we
fast.
are right on time. Next time, stop hanging out in the sun at Walmart.
I tell you, the time just goes by.
Yeah, I know. If I wasn't sitting at home, I would, at home anyways, I don't know that I would get home in time.
I thought it was like 4 o'clock or something. I don't know.
Well, it's still light out here.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
It's 10 o'clock here, though.
Anywho, enough of my negligence.
I am just teasing you, Mark. Should we talk about flip-flops for a moment?
Sure.
There was big talk this week on Google Plus about flip-flops and how disgusting they are. And
We're gonna do this on air.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. Let's sign off with how much we like flip-flops. Tom? Say good night.
Don't wear flip-flops, but have a good night.
What about you, Sylvain?
Well, I wear flip-flops in
wear
the
them in the
shower
field, right?
at work.
Yeah.
In the field and on the beach. Never in public other than the places I said.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, I guess signing off for my short little trip here, or my short little stop here. Yeah, flip-flop freedom everywhere. Don't lick my toes.
I was your host. I love having bare feet. I'm a sockless person, and I wear flip-flops wherever I can. So that's us, and we're out of here. Good night.
Night.
All right.